it up, swashbucklers! You're listening to Under the Crossbones, episode number 202. My name is Phil Johnson. I'm your host for the show and the ship's goalie each and every week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling your friends, visiting sponsors, sending donations, all the cool stuff that you do. It helps me keep the old boat afloat. We're brought to you today by Scuba Wise and Pirate Radio The Treasure Coast. Tell you more about those guys later on. You know where to find us online, right? Facebook.com/UnderTheCrossbones. Twitter, we're at Under Crossbones, no the. And make sure you hit that subscribe button in whatever podcasting app you're listening to it right now. Just click that little subscribe button. It's easy to find. It's easy to do. It's all free. How great is that? The podcasts, for the most part, are free. That's amazing. It's free. You get the new episodes every Tuesday as soon as they come out, and it helps our numbers. We know what we're doing. We know what's happening with the show when you hit that subscribe button. And, of course, all the show notes for this episode will be at underthecrossbones.com/202. Why? Because it's episode 202. That's why. I have amazing guests on the show today. Musical Blades are on the show today. How did it take 200 episodes before we got to Musical Blades? I have no idea. But these guys are a riot. They're so much fun. This episode descends into chaos at times. There were some sound issues we had to deal with. There were some technological issues we had to deal with. But it's a great time. It's very fun. You're going to enjoy this talk a whole lot. And also, my co-host today is going to be Marck Forget of Festival des Pirates, all the way from Canada, and he's going to be sitting in. Mark's a little quiet, but he pipes up every once in a while during this interview. So when you hear let's see, it would be a 6, 7, an 8th voice pop up during the show, that'll be Mark popping in with a question. So this is gonna be a fun one. We're gonna talk about how they deal with their sometimes adultish material when they're playing for a family audience, and some of the mishaps that have happened, and I can identify on that. We're gonna talk about their secret hard rock roots that they came from. We're gonna talk about how they're working very differently on their new album that they're working on right now. They're taking a very different process with it, which should be interesting to see. We're gonna hear about their upcoming trip to Ireland that they're going on with fans, like more than 60 fans are going with them to Ireland on a trip. That's going to be fantastic. And the big question, are they wearing shirts? That's the big question. So we're going to hear from Musical Blades here in just a few minutes. But first, we are sponsored today by Scuba Wise, Treasure Expeditions, Sunken Treasure Workshop. Now, if you have any even remotely any interest in doing this, do it. Because this is a fantastic experience. It's very inexpensive, and I think it's something you should definitely look into if this sounds cool to you. All right, so listen to this. You're going to spend the day with world-renowned treasure hunters down in the Florida Keys, learning how to find sunken treasure on the 1733 fleet of Spanish galleons. How cool is that, right? You're going to go down to the Spanish galleons. You're going to see treasure. You're going to see cannons, all sorts of all this sunken stuff in the boats under the water. It's great. It's a family-friendly trip. You can scuba, you can snorkel, you can just go on the boat. If you don't want to get in the water, you're like me, you're not a big fan of water, you can just go on the boat. That's probably not as fun. You should get in the water. I think I would even get in the water. But if you don't want to, you can just go along for the ride, and it's all good. Your hosts are amazing people. Captain Carl Fismer, world-renowned treasure hunter, the real-life Indiana Jones. You heard him here in episode 108. He's going to be one of your hosts for the trip. Captain Bradley Williamson, who you've seen on Expedition Unknown and the Travel Channel. He's going to be there. You heard him on episode 181 of this show. Dive Master Mark Littleton is going to be there. He's spent the last 35 years recovering artifacts from ships like the Andrea Doria and the Pinta and a whole bunch more. These dudes know what they're doing, and they're going to show you how to do it. You're going to learn how to find your own shipwrecks to salvage and the legalities of doing so. They're going to show you about all the technology that goes into wreck diving. And if you really want to go deep, you want to do it, they're going to show you how to find the money, how to find the funding to mount your own ship diving expeditions. How cool is that? That is worth a lot of money when you think about it. And the price is not, they're charging too little for this thing as far as I'm concerned. So you should go check it out. You're also going to get pictures of your trip included for free, a certificate of completion, friends that will last you a lifetime. Go to underthecrossbones.com/scuba and check that out now. You're even going to get a free treasure map just for hanging in there, just for checking them out. Go to underthecrossbones.com/scuba and sign up for the Scuba Wise Sunken Treasure Workshop right now. So here's what happened this past week. Here's the thing. My girlfriend has a distinct distrust of me doing anything remotely manly. Why? Because I tell jokes and play music for a living and have soft hands. That's why. So I'm not saying she doesn't have good reason. But because I don't do a lot of manly stuff. But anytime I do, I know, I go, this thing, I know for sure I can do this. This is easy. I'll help you with it. We'll get it done. It's going to be cheaper. It's great. So that came up this weekend. She needed new filters in her car. Cabin filter, engine air filter, right? If you've played around with cars at all, that's an easy thing, right? And so we bought the filters. She wanted to buy OEM filters. And I'm like, no, too expensive, stupid. Just buy a brand filter, but it doesn't have to be the Honda filter. She fought me on that for days. But then we went and we got the filters. And we took them back, and with we'd start with the cabin one that goes in the glove compartment box, right? Real easy, we pop it out. She's worried the whole time, but we get the thing in there, and the little cap doesn't close. Okay, turns out the filter is the wrong size. Wrong size. All right. Well, so strike one against me, even though that was the filter that it said in the book at the auto parts store. So we take that filter back to the auto parts store. And we show them the old filter, new filter, not the same size. And the guy rotates the new filter 90 degrees, and they're exactly the same size. Now, that one was on me. I should have maybe done that. But they put the printing on the wrong side. The printing was on the wrong side. You don't do that. So anyway, we got that one in there. That one worked after that. That's stupid. Just turn the thing. And then we had to do the engine air filter. And again, this is not a difficult job. In her car, it's you unscrew 4 screws, you lift up the lid, pull filter out, put filter in, plop, screw it down, done. Should take 5 minutes. So we get into it and unscrew, 3 of them. 4th unscrew. Oh no, that screw doesn't want to go. That screw doesn't want to go at all. And mind you, so this is none of this is my fault. But it seems to be my fault, according to her. And so the last screw we get in there does not want to unscrew. Like somebody at the Honda dealership, last time they looked at it, used one of those air gun drills, bzz, like they do, and man, that thing was in there, no getting it out, nothing. I got in there with a variety of screwdrivers, and nothing was going to unscrew this thing. So I called my dad. He didn't have any good ideas. We tried a lubricant thing, like a WD-40, extra strength, whatever. That didn't work at all. Called my friend Jeff. Hey, Jeff. Jeff's probably listening. Hey, Jeff. I called Jeff, and Jeff didn't have any additional ideas either. And those are the 2 car guys that I know. So why? Because all the rest of my friends also tell jokes and sing songs for a living and have soft hands. So I was tapped out on car guys. And so we did not. We never got the screw out. We never changed the filter. She's just going to do it. Next time she gets an oil change, she's going to take it to them, let it do it. So but the bottom line there is all that apparently was my fault. See, when I do it on my car, 10 minutes, done, in, out, done, no problem. But when we do it, whenever it's something I'm doing with her, it's a manly thing. I got to prove myself. I got to prove myself with the manly thing, and I'm doing it with her, and I'm showing her. It goes wrong every time. Every single time something will go wrong. If she's not there, no problem. As soon as she shows up, something will go wrong, and it will be my fault. That's love. That's relationships, you guys. That's how they work. All right. So I'm going to go do things I know how to do this week instead, like shows. Yeah, I'm going to tell some jokes, sing some songs. Here's where I'm going to be this week. August the 6th, that's today. If you're listening to the show, the day it comes out, I'll be at Sally Tomatoes in Roner Park, California. On the 8th, I'll be at Clandestine Brewing in San Jose, California. Short set that night. On the 9th, I'll be at the Folktale Winery in Carmel, California. That's going to be a spectacular show. Augie Smith, Chris Tinkle, me. It's going to be real fun. On August the 10th, I'll be at the Seven Sisters Brewery in San Luis Obispo, California. On the 11th, Cobb's Comedy Club in San Francisco, California. On the 14th, Art Boutique Music Hall in San Jose, California. Long headlining show in my hometown. That doesn't happen very often. I'm excited for that. And then August 16th in San Diego at the Comedy Palace, filming my new comedy special. My 4th one. Very excited and terrified. Go get your tickets because it's way important that we have an audience in front of me for that show. Why? Because I'm not Maria Bamford. I cannot film a special in front of 2 people, a dog, a mirror, and a vintage He-Man figure. I just can't pull it off like she can. She's amazing. But I need an audience. So PhilJohnsonComedy.com/San Diego is where you go to get the tickets. We're doing 2 shows that night at the Comedy Palace in San Diego. Use the code PHIL50. PHIL50, PHIL50, to get 50% off your ticket price. Looking out further into the calendar, October 10 to 12 during the Fort Myers Pirate Festival, I will be in Fort Myers playing the Laugh-In Comedy Club. So after you've done your pirating for the day, come on out to the Laughing Comedy Club that night right there in Fort Myers and listen to some jokes. It's going to be a good time. Let's see what else on the calendar. Vancouver's on the calendar. Some Minnesota gigs are on the calendar. Oregon gigs on the calendar. Go to underthecrossbones.com. Click the tour dates button, and that'll show you where I'm going to be. All right. If you want to support the show, you can do that. Go to underthecrossbones.com/support. There's a PayPal box right there. Drop a donation in, whatever amount you feel is appropriate. If you want to, there's an Amazon banner. Click the Amazon banner. Buy yourself something nice. Doesn't cost you anything extra. Amazon kicks me back a few shekels. That's how we keep the boat afloat. And if you want to be a sponsor of the show, like Scuba Wise or Pirate Radio or the Treasure Coast or any of the other great sponsors we've had over the years, you can do that too. All that information there is at underthecrossbones.com/support. Okay, shall we dig it? Let's get into it, man. We got the musical blades here, and it's going to get crazy. It's going to get weird. Let's do it. Let's jump in. I have been listening to musical blades all morning, and it has been the highlight. It has been the highlight of my day, outside of accidentally backing into some lady's car in the grocery store parking lot earlier.
No way.
I was going to say, wait a second. It sounds like you've had a really crappy day, so I'm not sure this is high praise, man.
Were you listening to the musical blades when you backed into her?
Yeah.
No, I was not.
Okay.
I was listening to Mark Maron, so it's his fault.
Oh my God, that guy, you can't trust him. No, always said that.
So the thing that strikes me about your material that you guys do is a couple of things. One, you don't shy away from modern references, because I heard Facebook and Scooby-Doo and all that kind of stuff in there.
That's right.
And you also don't shy away from the naughty stuff, which I absolutely appreciate. So tell me a little bit about how you guys approach the music and how you attempt to differentiate yourself from other pirate bands and Ren Fair bands that are out there.
Oh, sheesh. Well, the biggest thing is we've had 25 members in the band over the years, so everything changes through the years. That's how everything sounds different all the time. Yeah. So we started out just doing Ren Fair type music way back in the day of the dinosaurs, and
it's like the early 2000s.
Yeah, that's the dinosaurs, right?
Yeah, I'm super old dinosaurs. Yeah.
So then every time somebody has quit due to family because of touring and stuff like that or whatever, we've always had new members, and it's kept the music fresh through the years.
I would say also, like, as far as the naughty stuff, we always say it's kind of a bit in our show even. We aim for PG-14, which is a step above the standard. That's correct. Yeah. So it's, we want to be a little edgy and push it a little bit, but we don't want to scare away parents any more than we have to, So
more than one of us have had issues with teachers calling and our children singing some of the songs at school.
I mean,
they did not appreciate it as much.
That's happened with my kids, actually. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mine got some.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I always wonder, because I'll do shows where they'll go, keep it PG-13. I'm like, have you ever heard the mouth on a 13-year-old? Come on.
Right. Cool. I'm just saying, like, the official rating system for PG-13, you get one F word and a fully exposed boob. I've done my research. That's allowed. And I'm just saying, if we're PG-14, we've got some room to step up the show.
That'll get us fired, though.
Well,
So what you show
That's
your boob?
Yes.
At least 2 boobs.
Yeah, there's several of us have our
only
own.
other.
I was about to say there's probably about 6 of us in the band, so that's 6 boobs.
That's 12. That's 12. Yes.
Good job, Saxon. He just lives in character, right?
Yes.
Math.
So that's what I was going to kind of ask you. How do you guys, I mean, you're doing like PG-14 when you do the Ren Fairs and things like that. But even some of that stuff that I was hearing in there was dicey as far as family friendly goes. Do any of the festivals or fairs go, hey, don't play that stuff?
No, we kind of warn them. We warn them this is what we do, and we haven't had any complaints.
We've had
so far, unless we were right behind the children's realm.
Yeah, we've had. Yeah, no, I remember one fair.
That's not our fault.
No, there was one fair that had us kind of jumping across stages throughout the day, and there was one point that we were on like the children's stage, and they did pull us aside and say, like, if you can line things up or whatever, and we did. We kind of picked our songs to be, make sure we were super safe. But that's also the fair that had like a dude dropping F-bombs on the mic next to the food.
Right.
So it was one that didn't care all that much, but it was just like, look, this one tiny corner of the fair, not to tell any.
And like when we a couple years ago, the Cub Scouts theme for the year was something pirates, and we ended up doing 2 Cub Scout events. So we had to really, and it's funny because you're like, oh, this song should be okay, and then you get to a certain part of the song, and I'm looking at Patch going,
it's not okay.
Oh,
Skip the bridge. Skip the bridge.
Whoops. I mean, they won't get that.
It's not a smart bomb. I mean, you're going to get some collateral damage. Like last year in St. Louis, like we were doing a bit about seeing that on the stage, and a child went up right to the front and yelled, "I love that!"
Yeah.
Completely out of context. Like, right. Well, skip everything else.
Well, I'm going to go home now. Goodbye.
Technically, it's a
Yeah.
Right.
My ears and eyes.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, every once in a while you give out the disclaimer at the beginning of the show and you kind of explain like, it's PG-14 and you try to give them an example and help them understand what it is on the front end. And more often than not, like, it's not a big deal and you see some parents, kind of start to filter out. And it's cool. But every once in a while you're like a song and a half in and you see some horrified parents, yank their kids out of there like a grenade just got lobbed into the audience.
And sometimes we go give those parents $1.
Absolute good parenting. Good parenting should be rewarded. Absolutely.
I love that. We are absolutely kindred spirits because I have horrified some parents in my time as well.
Haven't we all?
Right.
Yes.
My group has officially been banned from ever playing the San Jose Christmas event here that happens downtown every year. So
wait. Was it? I have so many follow-up questions. Mainly, I have a lot of jokes that I feel like I could work into getting banned from the San Jose Christmas Festival.
Oh yeah,
and I just want the opportunity now.
It's hard to do this.
Yeah, no, it is now.
Can you legally tell us why you got banned?
No, in our case, we performed a song called "What Santa Wants," which is about alcohol, drugs, prostitutes, firearms, and Santa Claus.
Tale as old as time, buddy. Yeah,
Stands for reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the crowd loved it, and the Christmas in the Park people did not.
we had a similar thing. We were playing. There was a fair. It's not open anymore. There's a small fair in Green Bay that was honestly one of our favorite fairs to play. That was amazing, awesome, tiny little fair. But we were doing. They did this thing where they like basically had an evening event and would have us come in and do the music for this evening event. But is that?
That's Paul's phone.
That's jaunty. Is that Paul's phone? No, that's their one.
That's someone over there.
That's like, so we're playing this little fair and we're playing and we play some of our kind of more body stuff, but again, it's like PG-13. We have one song that is like hard R-rated song that we just save for, like every fair has like the King Smoker or whatever. And we save it for that. So we've got one song that we can get by with and that's it. So we're playing this show and we're playing our set and there's a handful of people in the crowd that know this song and they start cheering for it or whatever. But we look out and we can see there's 4 or 5 kids like in the front row watching the show. We're like, no, you don't want us to do that. Like, yeah, we do. And it's Green Bay. So everybody's drunk because everybody up there drinks. So they talk us into it. And we do this song and the song is really dirty and it's like none of us feel good about it.
No.
But we do this song and we get done. And like we look out at the crowd, and even the parents who were like, "Yeah, sing the song." Are like, "Oh, don't ever do that again." And like management runs on the side. Apparently, like the mayor of Green Bay was there. It was a real bad. It wasn't good at all. Anyway, we haven't been back to Green Bay in a couple of years. It's really weird.
Nice. I love stories of being completely inappropriate like that. That's always fun. So,
well, buckle up.
Let's go back to the beginnings of the group a little bit. Tell me how you guys got started and what some of your backgrounds were like musically.
Well, actually, we all have musical backgrounds even long before piracy. But we this whole thing started as more of an acting thing. It was a sword fight comedy show.
Okay.
So we did that. And Musical Blades started with for the first 5 years, it was just sword fight comedy. And one of the actors in our troupe, he left. He went to Jersey to be a real actor, and I stayed back. And by the way, Captain Patch here talking. So I stayed back and
Just edit that.
He's in
Right.
character.
I'm shirtless, but anyway, I stayed back and took the band to a band, made it more musical, made it almost all musical.
I mean,
actually.
you did make it.
It's just actually all music. It's pretty much all music.
I wrote
They didn't
songs.
have anything to sell at fair.
That's right. Yeah.
So you did CDs where it was just all patch.
Even towards the end of the fight days, we started selling
So
some
they just have
CDs.
some merch
Just with me
to sell.
singing because nobody else could sing.
Just so you could sell. Look how far we've come.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically why we have CDs now. Too.
Yeah.
It's just to sell something. You know?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I do the same thing, of course. And so,
Yeah.
when you were doing what does comedy sword fighting look like? I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
It's just kind of a skit. I don't know, based off of it was
Stage
we
short
had
combat.
stage sword
But there's a
combat.
story with it.
Yeah, we had
Jokes and-
two captains and a cabin boy, and the cabin boy won in the end. And it was just a 30-minute show of just a lot of vaudeville type stuff.
It was not super compelling, obviously.
Choreographed sword fighting.
It is the most fun that three men can have in tights.
Well, that's legal anyway.
I think one of them was a girl, but that's okay.
Well,
You couldn't tell.
no.
They weren't that tight.
So then where did the name come from? Was that just a matter of, well, we used to do a sword thing and now we're doing a musical thing, so let's mash those together?
Exactly. The actor that was with me when I first started this, he was like, we call it musical blades, and that's because our blades are moving so fast, it's almost making a tune with the blades. That was originally how the name came up.
Okay.
And when we switched over from the sword fight comedy show into a musical act, we had already had a following that came and saw us all the time because we were musical blades. And I was like, I'm just going to keep the name. So there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking the only other obvious name for that thought process behind it would be the Ting Tings, and that band already exists.
But it didn't at the time, and legislation is still pending.
Right. And Blades is kind of another name for rogues anyway. So
Exactly. It's not our name.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Sure, okay.
yeah.
And that was 45 years ago that this happened.
Right. Very near.
Roughly, yeah.
We're going to make Finn go away now.
Yeah.
So when you guys sort of started, I mean, how many? It was just you, Patch, working from the beginning. How many guys did you add at that beginning stage and kind of get that rolling again?
We had I had two other guys and a girl in the group at that time.
Okay.
And I brought them all in and we did some practicing. We had like 8 songs and we just went out and did the same 8 songs throughout the day, and it was horrible. So, of course. It took a few CDs before we finally got halfway decent.
When did the other half come? I think the high point. I think the highest it's ever been was 9 people in the full-time band. Right. That was shortly before.
8 when I
Eight.
got
Yeah,
Yeah,
8.
you were the 9th. Or
No, I was the
oh, okay.
Saucy Jack here, by the way.
Good job.
He's also shirtless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of us are wearing shirts right now.
Whoa.
I did put pants on.
By the way, I'm obligated to tell you that this call is $6.95 a minute.
Now all the listeners have quite a visual.
You are welcome.
And so it's, I mean, listening to your stuff, you guys obviously have musical chops and vocal chops. So what were you guys doing besides Ting Ting and your swords together? What were you guys doing musically before this group?
I can start. So I was in Gunpowder Red talking here. So I was in some strange bands playing in crappy rock clubs in Kansas City.
Okay.
For I don't know, 10, 15 years or so, ranging from hard rock to slightly less hard rock, and then like a comedy prog metal band was in there too. And Saucy Jack, who at the time was not Saucy Jack, also played in hard rock bands, and he was into Ren Fairs. So when he kind of got grouped into this band, he eventually reached out to me to come audition for the band. And now there's several of us who used to play in hard rock bands and now have completely sold out and embraced our life.
Yeah, Sid Bender used to be like in a black metal band.
He was.
Makeup and everything.
Yeah, we used to.
Scary-looking fella.
We realized recently that my old band used to attend his old band's shows and make fun of them.
Yeah, as they should have.
Yeah.
Because in no way does black metal come from the Midwest and be anything. I mean, we summoned Satan so many times.
I remember watching you guys and going, like, no, Satan wouldn't be caught dead with you guys. Satan's like, nah, I'm not with them.
We were the TGI Fridays of black. It's better than the Applebee's.
Right.
Dollar margarita night every night, and no one came out.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Was singer in a cover band and original band before Blades.
That's right. That's right. I did a lot of music. I had retired from music completely.
Yeah.
And then a buddy of mine talked me into doing this sword fight comedy thing. And I was like, yeah, I want to dress like a pirate.
Yeah.
But I did. I ended up, he talked me into it.
Yeah.
And here we are, 19 years later.
I definitely hear a lot of the rock and the even some, like, not a blues influence, but a blues based rock influence in some of your stuff. Is that, I mean, did you go into writing those songs with that kind of in mind, where we're going to infuse a little of that in there? Or is it just something that kind of just naturally pops out of your head like that?
I think it's more natural. I think lately we've done some kind of Irish genre type stuff, Irish rock, kind of Flogging Molly-esque.
Okay.
And tried to hit that kind of sound, and it still ends up sounding like us, I think, in the end.
I don't know that. I mean, personally, I'll let the other guys that write chime in too, but I personally, I have a really, really hard time saying I'm going to write this kind of song. Like, it's just whatever happens, and hopefully I get to grab onto it and be a part of it. But I don't get to sit down and decide what I'm going to write most of the time.
No, there's been a couple times where we've had the idea that, like, we need a big upbeat drinking song, or something like that. Mm-hmm. So we might have that theme in the head, but no one sits down and specifically has that in mind. I don't think. I think it's just kind of most of it has come natural thus far.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, it's pretty natural and organic. This last what we've been writing recently has been extremely organic and collaborative.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because from Up the Ante, which is where the style kind of started really changing, I think, because that's when we brought in the electrics and stuff like that. Even here in the transition from that to Raise the Black, stylistically, the nice thing about being a pirate band is there's really no parameters of what we can and can't do.
Right.
So we've got elements of bluegrass, blues, jazz, rock, metal, folk, acoustic, it's just anything and everything.
Pirate.
We can get away with it. Yeah, right. Pirate.
Yeah. Pirates weren't metal. Well, pirates didn't have acoustic guitars on the ship either.
You
know?
Yeah.
So,
life preservers.
Right.
Found him with Sven Bender here. So I've been in the group now for just about a year, and about half of it has been spent writing with these guys, like Saucy Jack was saying. It's been really, really organic. And I had the privilege of being a fan first. And so when I started to approach the writing process with them, I started to try and write for the band. Like, let's write a flat-out pirate song. And let's try a few different directions that they've not quite done before. And I think as a result, some things stick, some things don't. I think it's been super collaborative, and all of the directions now are pretty unique. I think the next stuff that's going to be released is going to be very interesting and wow you. The zing factor.
Way to go, hype man.
Zing.
Go wow.
Well, some of the things we find out, even though we start into the song trying to produce them, we realize halfway through the song we're going to change it anyway.
Well, and I mean,
that's just poor planning. Really.
Yeah, historically speaking, where we've actually been recording tracks before everybody in the band has actually heard the song. And this will be the first time we're really trying to not do that.
Yeah, we do. The process this time around has been very, very different.
You guys bring the songs to me and I veto what I.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
That's always mostly that.
Yeah, but no, I mean, there's in the past it's been very much for the most part. I'll write a song, Gunpowder Writer, or Sox will write a song, or what, and it'll be more or less complete and bring to the group, and we'll kind of take it from there. And this time, the people who kind of play instruments all kind of hold up mixed all their influences and ideas together and then brought that product to the group, to the point that we have a hard time like distinguishing now whose idea was what and who wrote what.
Well, except for every song that you write, you always insist on having Gunpowder Reds
at the beginning.
That's just not. That's true. That's not true.
That is only for publishing and for BMI.
I need my ASCAP points.
You don't want to pirate each other's publishing, right? That's bad.
Topical. That's topical.
The Pirate's Code.
Mark, did you have it sounded like you had a question earlier and I stepped on you.
Yeah, you guys are you guys recording a new album for 2020?
That's the plan, yes.
Yeah. I don't know the timeline at this point.
We are not setting a specific timeline, but if we're not done by 2020, yeah, we're in trouble.
Yeah, sometime in 2020. It might be December 30th.
It might be before 2020.
I know that. I mean, we can say like this way, and I don't know when this is going to air, but this weekend where there is recording happening. That's starting to happen. So it's on its way. We've got a handful of songs more or less done in terms of the writing and arranging. We've got a whole bunch of other songs that have been kind of approved.
We've got the skeletons.
Yeah,
we don't have the skeletons yet. Yeah.
So we've got more than an album's worth of songs that everybody has said, yeah, that's good. Let's finish writing that one. So.
And is it okay if we talk about the fact that we're probably going to bring a couple old ones back that are no longer on old CDs?
You just did.
Well, crap.
Surprise.
Go ahead. Finish it up.
Oh, I did.
That was just pretty much
it. Heard it here first.
We kind of refer to them as zombie songs. So every couple of albums,
do we?
At least recently.
We do now.
Saucy Jack has referred to them as
Gunpowder Reds.
Gunpowder Red zombie songs. Copyright 2019 Gunpowder Red. Gunpowder Red talking here, by the way. We every once in a while we like to go back and find some of the, because the band has been around so long and gone through so many members that all have brought their different influences. It's fun to kind of go back and take one of those songs and kind of strip the meat off the bones and take the core concept and then rewrite it the way we would have written it.
Go from Captain Patch's blah and to Gunpowder Reds.
Actually, make sure it's in time and everything.
Right. Set a metronome to it. The same key.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah, 4/4 straight start to finish.
You are welcome.
Yeah. So we're pretty sure at this point. I think as reasonably sure as we can be that we're going to get some of those on there.
Well, and the plan was, because some of those songs are ones that we still perform out at fair.
Yeah.
And so they become favorites of people, and they come over and say, "Hey, which CD's that on?" It's like, none of these. Because the ones we're only carrying the most recent 4.
And some are available. To be fair, some of that stuff sounded like crap on the old CDs.
That's true, yeah. And some of it did sound like crap. But those songs we brought back around, like Red said, kind of put new meat on it, and I think they sound just a lot bigger and better.
Yeah.
And like I said, the fans still want to hear them, so you want to make sure they have access
to a good copy.
Well, it may be time for a box set now.
We did
That's
the
a good
double
idea.
CD. And that was very expensive. So let's do a box set and just see if we can top
We
that.
can make little pirate chests.
Wouldn't it be a chess set?
Wow.
Yeah,
Shut
it'd be
up.
chest set.
4 CDs. That's right. You heard it from us.
No, you didn't know.
6 CDs.
No.
So the box set comes with
Why are you still here?
a T-shirt and 8 compact discs.
Anyone does compact discs.
Get in your gremlin and go.
So now you guys are going to dip into recording right here in the middle of festival season. You have quite a bit of stuff coming up, don't you?
We do.
Yeah.
We got like 3 weeks off. So, we'll
That's enough.
get all this done in 3 weeks.
It's not going to be as bad as in the, so in the past kind of our process has been, we say, let's write a new album. And then the very next step is we book a show and tell everybody when the CD release show is. And then we sit around for 2 or 3 months and then start writing. This time we've started writing before we do anything else. Yeah. So it's a whole new experience.
We've actually played a couple of the songs out.
Yeah.
So
we're starting to get like crowd feedback and tweak things. It's a real weird process where we're being responsible.
it's weird.
Yeah.
Responsible-ish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, we're adulting.
No. That's bad. Yeah. I drink far too much for that to be true.
But yeah, we get a lot of cool stuff coming out too. Like we're going to Houston.
Houston, that Lone Star Pirate Festival.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I've been to Warehouse live.
Oh, really?
Before. Yeah.
I don't know.
Back in, I don't know, 2006 or something like that. The Galactic Cowboys were having a reunion there.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've been to that venue, and it's when I heard where it was, I was like, holy crap, this is the real deal.
Yeah.
And I think they've been doing a great job of getting a good selection of bands together, the burlesque and everything like that. I'm just very excited about that because we're not used to doing the club shows anywhere else other than pretty much home.
Right.
You know, we do St. Louis, we've done Kansas City, Tulsa, but this will be the first time that we've ever done our rock stuff in Houston.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's going to be good or bad for the people who hear some podcasts. Usually hear, the acoustic stuff.
Yeah.
Might scare them a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah. So yeah, July 20th. July 20th. We'll see what happens. It's a long trip.
Yeah.
It's a long way, but we're kind of stepping up our length of trips. We did Florida.
Well, we're doing a lot of stuff that we have never done this year. It's our uncharted waters.
Yeah, with Florida, and my understanding is we're going to be going to New York in October. But then right after the July show, we're going to be busting back into what we got Bristol, a couple weeks in Bristol.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Central Missouri, House Festival, and we haven't heard officially anything back from St. Louis, but our anticipation is that we'll play St. Louis a few weeks and Des Moines 1 week.
Yep.
So yeah, that'll be the busy time, and that'll also be the time where we start locking down those other songs that we're preparing to record.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we're talking about distance shows. I guess the one probably the longest distance is Ireland.
Ireland.
Yeah.
Ireland. Tell me about that.
Yes. Yeah.
That is
what's the deal with that?
It's we got with Hammond Travel Company, who works with a lot of other bands. We Banjo 3 has done work with them. Young Dubliners.
That was the one.
Tullamore from Kansas City has done several shows with them, or tours with them to Ireland, Scotland, and they hooked us up with the information. And I had gone to Ireland last year on vacation, and when I came back, I just told the guys, we got to do this. We need to try. And once everybody was on board, we put it out there, and we're actually kind of surprised with how many people already signed up. Because basically it's a package deal where the fans get to go with the band. And
honestly, it's a discounted package deal. It's a really good deal.
And so the fans will get to travel with us, and we're planning on playing a couple shows there as well as just taking over Dublin in pirate garb. But that happens in April of 2020, and there's still availability if anyone is interested.
Yeah.
It's really good.
.com.
Right. Hocket.
What kind of size group are you going to be taking on that? Like, what's the maximum you could take?
There is no specific maximum that they've set. They said if we have more people than the bus will handle, then they'll get another bus. I know that right now we're at about 65 or so. So we're taking a pretty decent haul. And I don't know if you've been to Ireland before, but most of the pubs there won't seat that many people. So we're trying to get ahead and look at different clubs and things like that could accommodate a bunch of people who really like to drink and really like pirates, as well as tap into the market of Ireland, because we do a lot of Irish traditionals, but we do them definitely our way. And I think that's either going to be a really big win or a big loss to people from Ireland.
We shall see.
But we're willing to put it out there and see.
Yeah. What was that website again, guys?
BladesInIreland.com.
Wow.
It sounds like a really fun trip. I've not been to Ireland. I've been to Scotland. I've been to England. I haven't been to Ireland yet. So it sounds really fun.
You should go.
This is the time.
Well, listen, we can hook you up with a really great discounted tour.
It seems it's going to be like a big pub crawl you guys going to be having.
I think there will be a few of those. Yeah. I know that our last 2 days there are just hanging out in Dublin, and one of those days, the entire day is just touring the Guinness plant.
Well, that's the one activity of the day, and the rest is free time.
I know there's almost no way I'm going to find the airplane.
It's like a week of pub and castle crawl.
Yeah, and potatoes.
And potatoes. Well, there's probably potatoes.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Boy, that really does sound fun. Are you guys the type that like to socialize with your fans 22 hours a day?
Absolutely. Yes. Some more than others. And when I say that, I mean both some of us more than others and some of the fans more than others.
Right. No, I'll say having, and I know a couple of the guys have kind of echoed this privately too, having played in bands and kind of, poured your heart and soul into writing the music and stuff in other original bands. Before I joined this band, I was kind of burned out playing in original bands because, you kill yourself to write these songs and book these shows and promote them and play them for 12 people. And it's just demoralizing as hell. I played my first show with the Blades, and it was 6 years ago or so. But I remember setting up during sound check and being kind of turned around and getting everything set up. And I turned around and they had opened the doors in the meantime. And I turned around and I looked at Paul. I was like, "Oh, you guys have fans!" And they were like, everybody wants to take pictures and get autographs and do all the stuff that I had not experienced. Like the fans are so appreciative.
The whole pirate genre, I think, it's such a niche thing, but they're really devoted. Yeah. And they're really solid fans. Yeah. I mean, the fact that we're taking 60 of them to Ireland already is just crazy. But when we play shows around here, it's not unusual for us to pull 300-400 people. Yeah. And that's only in the Kansas City shows, and which we don't get to do very often. Right. And being hometown, that's kind of sad. That's what it is.
But I think what's cool about it though is, on the one hand, yes, I agree. On the other hand, like we've got these little home bases around the country too that we, every time we go there, there's this whole other family of friends that is there and excited to see us, and they
take care of us.
Yeah, and they take great care of us.
Gifts to us and just make things. And
it's awesome.
It is a really unique experience, unlike anything. Like Red was saying, I've been in a ton of bands over the years. And this is the first one that I've had this kind of camaraderie with the fans. They become part of the family. Yeah. I mean, you see those same ones over and over that are traveling. We have tons of them that come from various states and all the time. I mean, to where I've sat down and gone, "What's wrong with you? Why do you keep coming? You see the show." Yeah. But I guess that's what being a fan is.
There's also, I think that keeps us. I mean, obviously, it's tried to say, well, that really keeps us going, but it keeps us innovating too. Like we're not playing the same show, and whether it's at one fair that we've been, we're playing 4 or 5 shows a day, 2 days a weekend, 5-6 weekends in a row. Like every time when we're getting ready to walk out on stage, like as we're walking out, we find out what the set is.
Yeah, that's when Al hands us the list.
Yeah, it's like, all right, this is what we're doing this time.
And at any given time, he can change his mind on stage.
And we're
sometimes we don't even know about it.
And it keeps us. We're constantly kind of screwing with each other on stage, which gives birth to new bits and keeps things moving.
We legitimately like each other. It's a huge difference because we play off each other and it's legit. We're just enjoying.
Yeah, but even when we're doing like these club shows where we've got like these little pocket families in all these different cities and stuff. Every time we start a new one, and we've talked about doing it a different way, and we always shoot it down, like we completely rewrite the set for every club show and start from scratch. We've talked about before, like we did this show in Kansas City. If we go to St. Louis or go to Tulsa or go to Chicago or whatever, we can do the same show. Like most bands, when they go on the road,
you don't have to
do the same show every time. And we're like, nah, it's fine. And we end up, having to relearn a whole bunch of songs again.
And speaking of whatever band we perform with, we always do like an encore thing with them at the end where we perform something, either a cover song or one of their songs. They play one of our songs, something like that. And that's just kind of become a tradition with us. But the interesting thing about the club shows is being someone on the front end who has tried to book those club shows. Yeah. To calling a new venue in a new city and going, "Hey, I'm in a pirate band and I'd like to book your club," and trying to explain exactly what. Just trust me. We'll get people there and they like to drink. Just trust me. Yeah. And usually it takes a few. Well, one time each city thus far.
Yeah. And then they're like,
please come back.
I get it now.
But it's real hard to sell that. I mean, when you're a cover band, you can explain that. If you're a hard rock original band, you can explain what the hell's a pirate band. Yeah. And we're different than every other pirate band, So trying to sell that and explain that in ways that club owners understand. Not always the easiest thing. Yeah.
Right. I mean, to give you an example of just how crazy it can get, and the things that we'll do, like this last club show that we did in Tulsa with Music the Gathering, which, by the way, if you have not heard them, they are fantastic.
They're absolutely fantastic.
As our encore, we did Carry On, or My Wayward Son by Kansas, and Hold On by Wilson Phillips. Yeah. Just back to back. Just back to back.
Just, like you do.
For no reason.
But I will say the cool thing about Music Gathering is their harmonies are perfect. So they nailed Wilson Phillips.
Oh, yeah.
In a way that you just didn't expect. Yeah. And it was just like, it went from being funny to, oh, God, this is serious. Oh, God, they're actually
That's awesome.
That sounds really fun. Well, you guys, you're going to have to come out to the West Coast, or I'm going to have to make it out there to the Midwest sometime in between my...
We would love to come to the West Coast.
Absolutely.
Or you could always go to Ireland.
Yeah.
Get us a gig. We'll open up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come to Canada.
That too.
We will do most things.
That too. Well, this has been super fun, you guys. Mark, did you have any other questions for the guys that we didn't get to yet?
No, not really. The guys are covered everything that I had. It's those guys are really hoops, and I hope one day they could come to Canada.
Yeah. We would love to visit the Great White North.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to go there on vacation. I love it.
Yeah, love to. America's hat.
Is it true if you die in Canada, you die in real life?
You're reborn inside of Timmy Hortons.
With the double.
Yes. All you do, you just eat ketchup fries for all eternity, or ketchup chips for all eternity.
With all the protein you could ever want.
Yeah. You wake up inside an episode of Letterkenny.
Do I have to be a Leafs fan? I draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, get it right there. I'm Canadian fan, not a Leaf fan.
There you go.
Yeah. Good. Thank God. Oh, Corey Price, do better.
It's the one guy in the band that knows hockey.
Oh my gosh. So where's a good place for everybody to find out what you guys are doing online?
Well, gosh.
Musicalblades.com or any place on Facebook or Instagram.
That's right. Spotify.
Spotify. We're on iTunes. We're on Amazon.
Yeah.
And you can
Walmart.
Pandora.
Walmart.
Yeah, you can find us at Walmart.com. Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's true.
I don't understand it.
We still don't know how that happened, but yeah, we're there.
For those who want to stay up on the real close fan content, we have a fan club on Facebook.
That is fantastic.
That is fantastic.
And that's and in all seriousness, like we're all in there and chatting a lot. And that's kind of the favorite part of being in the band is that we get this kind of real time interaction all the time with the fans. It's a lot of fun.
Yep.
Yeah. Stop in there. That's
the official Musical Blades fan club.
That's where the real crap. Yeah, that's where the real stuff goes down.
Good deal. Good deal. I will get that all linked up in the show notes for sure. You guys, this has been super fun. I'm glad we surmounted our technical problems and we're able to do this.
Us too.
Yeah, thanks for your patience with that.
Yeah. Phil, Mark, thank you so much.
Thank you for your generosity, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on.
Oh, not a problem. There it is, friends. That is my talk with Musical Blades. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Those guys were a blast. Sometimes a little bit hard to wrangle, but that's the nature of doing an interview with that many people at once. So I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun for us as well. Did you hear something you liked, something you learned, something you wanted to chip in on? You put your 2 cents in on your two pieces of 8. Want to slip them in there? You can do that. Come on over to Facebook, facebook.com/underthecrossbones. We'll have a thread there about the episode that you can chime in on, ask questions, make comments, all that kind of good stuff. It's all there. The show notes for this episode, underthecrossbones.com/202. And of course, you can find out more about what Musical Blades are up to. Go to musicalblades.com or check out bladesinireland.com if you want to get in on that trip. Man, does that not sound fun? I want to go to Ireland. I haven't been there yet. I really want to go. I would like to go with those guys. That would be a blast. But I'm already committed to a trip this year. We're doing Italy in September. So that's our big trip for this year. But you should go to Ireland with the Musical Blades. Don't go to Italy with me because I don't know what I'm doing yet. We are sponsored today by Pirate Radio of the Treasure Coast, WKKC-DB, playing the best music of today's hits and yesterday's classics. In fact, you can hear Under the Crossbones on there every Wednesday night at 10 o'clock p.m. Yes. To listen, just go to pirateradioofthetreasurecoast.com. You can also use the Live 365 app and search for Pirate Radio. That's where they are now. Or you can ask your Alexa or Google device to play Under the Crossbones and Pirate Radio of the Treasure Coast for you, and it will do that because it's listening to you at all times. Find out more and tune in to listen at pirateradioofthetreasurecoast.com. And that is our show for today, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it every single time. Again, you can find out more about Musical Blades, what they're up to, musicalblades.com, bladesinireland.com. All the show notes for this episode at underthecrossbones.com/202. Coming up next week, I'm excited for this one. We're going to talk to Rich Cohen. He is the author of a book called The Last Pirate of New York. Yeah, we're going to go well out of Golden Age on this one, and we're going to talk about the last man charged with piracy in the city of New York. It's a fascinating story. If you haven't read the book yet, I highly suggest getting one. I'm going to give away a couple copies. We're going to have a giveaway on the show, so keep an eye open for that. Make sure that you listen next week, because this is a fascinating story about the last pirate of New York. Author Rich Cohen will be here. The week after that, Lou Hernandez, a.k.a. Cutthroat Cortez of Pirates Plunder, is going to be on the show, and he's going to be my final guest of the show, and I'm very excited about that because he's doing great charitable things with with his pirate lifestyle, and those are the people that I like, the reason that I started the show in the first place. So he's going to be a great way for me to bow out. And coming up after that, I don't know. It's up to Nick. Nick Hoffman will be taking over the show, and even I don't know who he's got coming on yet. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing to listen to what he does with the show, and that is coming up. All right? So next week, I'll see you with Rich Cohen. Bye.